Bienvenue à Paris, and to this special edition of the daily podcast episodes bringing you the inside stories from the Paris 2024 Olympic Games. Allez, allez, allez! Here's your host, John Gregory.
A warm welcome to this second episode of this special daily series. Thanks for joining me. We will be bringing you a short daily episode as we guide you on what to expect the next day at the Olympic canoe slalom and kayak cross in Paris, and recap on the results from the last day's racing. I will be joined by guests including Olympic paddlers, teams and race commentators from around the world. Just to explain, the name CDG is the airport code of Paris. Today we will preview the C1 men and K1 women. I'm joined by world number one Luka Bozic from Slovenia, and with additional contributions from American Olympic champion Joe Jacobi and Irish Olympian Mike Corcoran. So focusing in on C1 men and K1 women classes, suffice to say that the progression from heats to semi-finals is complicated and determined by the number of starters in the heats. In all cases, there are 12 boats in the final. Unlike World Championships or World Cups, paddlers compete in both of the two heats and are ranked by their fastest time of the two. In C1 men, the top 16 of the 20 starters will advance to the semi-final. Defending Olympic champion and world champion is Benjamin Savcek from Slovenia. Takuya Haneda from Japan competes in his 5th Olympics. Casey Eichfeldt from USA, Sidiris Tassiadis from Germany and Benjamin Savcek from Slovenia racing in their 4th Olympics. Raffi Ivaldi from Italy took the win at the pre-Olympic test event late last year. We have had 4 French gold medalists, 3 from Tony Estanguet and 1 from Denis Gargaud-Chenot in Rio. Previous Olympic champions have been from Slovakia twice, Slovenia, former Czechoslovakia and Germany. Representing France in Paris is world number 3, 24-year-old Nicolas Guestin. Leading the World Cup series after the first 3 races is Olympic silver medalist from Rio, Mati Benus from Slovakia. And the average age of the C1 men is 29.1 years, the oldest of any category. In K1 women, the top 19 of the 25 starters will advance to the semi-final. Reigning Olympic champion is Ricarda Funk from Germany and reigning world champion Jess Fox from Australia. Luka Jones and Mylene Charoux are here for their 5th Olympics, Jess Fox from Australia and Anna Sattler from Brazil here for their 4th Olympics. We have had 3 German Olympic champions, 2 from both Czechia and Slovakia, plus 1 from Spain. And we've had 1 French gold medalist, Emilie Fair in London. Representing France in Paris is world number 4, 26-year-old Camille Prigent, competing in her 1st Olympics. The average age of the K1 women is 28.9 years. In our opening preview episode yesterday, we noted the critical point, meaning that not all of the world's top athletes are here. There are in fact 3 Slovenian men ranked in the top 5 in the world in C1 men, yet only one of them gets to compete at the Olympics. Representing Slovenia in Paris is defending Olympic champion and world number 2 Benjamin Savcek. So let's start today's conversations with Luka Bozic from Slovenia. We talked about the epic battle between him and Benny Savcek for that Olympic spot and the impact of the small field at the Olympics. We also talk about the strength of the Slovenian team and his prediction for whom we might expect to see in the C1 men final on Monday, July the 29th. So Luka, I mean, we saw the most epic battle through Slovenian selection. I mean, can you start off by describing the sequence of races and results between you and Benny in terms of that C1 men selection?
We started the selections in beginning of last season. I need to reach first pre-Olympic status. Benny already have this pre-Olympic status because of he was gold in Tokyo. So I need to fight the whole season. But then on the end, I think the overall win on the World Cup was the point where I reached this status. And then we started with the 4 races, me and Benny, which the first one was the World Championship in London last year. And then was the World Cup final in Paris. And then this year was European Championship and on the end World Cup in Prague. So yeah, We started I started not so bad. I was in the final in London, but in the end, the Benny won the World Championship. So he was quite a lot in front because we have some extra points for the podium. And then the second race, I was in front of him, but I didn't reach the podium in Paris. I was fourth, so then he was still on the end of last season. He was still in front. Then it was the European Championship at home here in Tatzen, where was me again in front of him, but we were both in on the podium, so I think we have the same points. So before the last race, I think I have 40 points and Benny has 41 points. The coach said to me that I just need to be in the final and in front of him. Also, if I will not be on the podium, I will go on the Olympics. But yeah, on the end, I was not so good on the last race, but still, I was really happy to fight till the end. But yeah, really disappointing on the other hand.
Honestly, I mean, it was an epic battle. I mean, there was just nothing to choose between you in some respects. I mean, when you were in finals, who knew? Well, I mean, you're world number one and number two. I mean, you are amongst the best paddlers in the world. So, yeah, there was so little between you. So, I mean, from a spectator point of view, watching that series was incredibly exciting. Awful for you, of course.
I think we want this on the Olympics, not before the Olympics.
Yeah, I know. Well, they've often said that the biggest battle is getting that Olympic selection spot. And yeah, I mean, there's been others as well. I mean, Vip Prindis is not in the Olympics. Andrea Herzog is not at the Olympics because, yeah, they didn't win their own kind of internal selection races to represent.
I was barely motivated for the World Cup in Krakow. I just wanted to go home and to be with my family. But then, yeah, I go to Krakow. I race quite well. But then after a week or two, I start thinking what went wrong. But on the end, you came to the conclusion that I'm still a really good paddler and with really good results. But just the system, I think it's really terrible. So this is my view of this situation. Maybe the others have some other opinion of this, but yeah.
You're a winner of the World Cup series. Yeah, I mean, you are still world number one. Actually, very much like Alexander Slavskovsky for Slovakia. I mean, he was world number one for many years, has also never represented Slovakia at the Olympics.
Yeah, I will never understand that. Also, the fans, which are going to the races, they don't understand how the world number one it's not going to the Olympics, and because if you are on the first on the ICF ranking, this means that you are. I think I check. I think in this last pre-season counts in this ICF ranking till today. So, but then you are second in the country, and you're not going to the Olympics. This is a little bit weird, but yeah. On the end, these are the rules, which we are not happy. Like athletes like me, but still. Yeah.
Do you think that the sport needs to evolve so we have a better representation of top athletes in the world?
For sure. I think I checked at the last Olympics where were like two paddlers on the nation on the category. They were in Sydney 2000. So we are fighting for these rules to change for last 20 years. And I will say that they need to change something because I think the spectators want to be the biggest race, need to be like quality of the athletes need to be on the high level, and this I'm looking forward to be done in the next year.
Okay, so so you won't be obviously in Paris for the Olympics. You've said that you're planning to race the last World Cup races of this year.
Yeah, I was like I said, I was out of the boat now for 5 weeks, I think. I've been a lot of time on the bike, but not on the water. Yeah, I will do the last two races for sure, and then I also go to China on Super Cup, which ICF organized some big race there. But yeah, the main goal for this season was Olympics, and I didn't reach there, so I'm still very disappointed from that point of view. But like I said, season it's not over yet, and I will fight till the end, also for the overall World Cup.
Okay, so well, we're bitterly disappointed too. So, I mean, two things there. One is that from a Slovenian team, I mean, you have a stellar team, nevertheless. I mean, you've got C1 men, Olympic world champion Benny Sadcek, who we've been talking about, double world champion Olympic silver medalist Peter Kauser, world champion Eva Terzel, and under 23 world bronze medalist Eva Alina Hokovar. Another famous name in the sport. So, I mean, you are being represented in Paris by just an incredible group.
Yes, I think the Slovenia has really strong team. I will not talk about Saušek because we all know what he's capable of. Peter Kauser surprises everyone year by year, but not me, because he really loved the sport and he has also experience from Olympic Games. So I think he's capable of won the medal there. So I'm really cheering for him. Eva Terzel, I wish her a medal in both K1 and kayak cross discipline, because she shows that she was born for the big races. In C1 girl, there are quite a lot of girls which they are really good, and they are capable of being on the podium. So Evalina is growing year by year, and I really wish her a great results on her first Olympic Games. So yeah.
Well, it's always that balance of experience and youth, isn't it? Okay, so I am going to ask you, as world number one, I mean, any predictions for Paris Olympics, but maybe particularly in terms of who should we expect to see in a C1 men final?
I was thinking a lot. I was also watching a lot the guys who will be there. What I saw on the last World Cup in Paris last year, and on this first part of the season, I will say that first, the French athletes are very dangerous to be on the podium in all categories, because the course is really specific, and they were training there like quite a lot of time. But I think that in C1 men on the podium, I will say that Justin and Saušek will be there. And then it's Ivaldi, who won the World Cup last year. And then there are quite a lot of athletes who has already won the medals on the Olympics. This is Tasiadis, Benush, and Rohan from the last Olympics. And I will say also Trave and Burgess, they're capable of be on the podium. So these are all the athletes who I think who are capable of winning the medal. But yeah, on the end, Olympic Games it's the race for. It's quite a weird race, but yeah, we'll see how it's gonna be. I'm cheering for all, especially for the Slovenian team. I hope this is not my last chance, and I think I will fight for one more. But still, I love the sports and love doing this. So I think I will fight for one more.
Good. Well, we hope you do. You have some young guns to look out for, though.
Yeah, this is the most interesting part that we are quite a strong nation. Yeah, Gigalini, it's shown this year that he will be for sure prepared in the next 4 years for the next Olympics.
That was Luka Bozic. He represented Slovenia at the Olympics in London and Rio. He talked to us from home in Ljubljana, Slovenia. I return to our previous guest, Joe Jacobi, noted why we should watch some of the Laseo athletes.
In my club, Laseo, we have two athletes competing. We have Miquel Trave for Spain, and we have Monica Doria from Andorra. And I'm really high on Monica for something. I don't know what, but the idea that Andorra could come back with a medal from the Olympic Games in one of three categories, I think is very likely. I think her team around her, her coach, Christian Tobio, and Mark Domingo has been doing some of her physical preparation. And Monica's improvement and disposition as a professional athlete has been amazing. So, I don't know what's going to happen. It's just sort of a feeling that I have, something good for Monica there.
That was Joe Jacobi. He represented USA at the Olympics in Barcelona and Athens. He talked to us from home in La Seu d'Urgell, Spain. Finally today, again back to Mike Corcoran with more from my previous conversation about his two daughters competing in Paris in K1 women and C1 women.
For Richard and Miriam, it had to be very difficult for three Olympics that it was almost impossible for Noemi to beat her sister, and that's difficult. And then the fact that our girls are twins, they do everything together. It's good or bad. That's how they've grown up. They've paddled. It was Sylvain Poberai, who was the US team coach, who's our club coach now. He told Michaela, he said, listen, if you ever want to, think about an Olympics, you need to switch from K1 to C1. So he's the one that kind of put that in her head. And we just, as parents facilitated that. For me, I just want my kids to be happy, and I'm glad she switched to C1. She's actually quite a good C1 paddler.
That was a good tip, good decision.
Yeah, it was a really good decision. Maddie's first world champs in Ivrea when she was, I don't know, junior. I think she was 16 or 17. She was sixth. She surprised herself. But I think again, after that, then she had put more pressure on herself. The following year, she won the semis in Krakow, and then I think that really got to her head before the final, and she was last boat off, and she was eighth or something, but she didn't do as well as she wanted to. But again, I told them okay, this is the Olympics. You got there. There's so much going on. There's so much, visual distractions and excitement and all that. Just enjoy it. Don't put it as like, oh, I'm so nervous it's the Olympics. It's like the biggest thing you'll ever do. It's not. Media-wise, it may look that way, but there's a lot bigger things in life.
This is the first time Ireland has had a boat in each class. I mean, what does that say about paddling in Ireland, Irish paddlers?
I think the program in Ireland is actually quite strong. So Canoeing Ireland, when I paddled, it was the Irish Canoe Union, and they changed their name to Canoeing Ireland. But the leadership in Canoeing Ireland right now is very focused on competitive sports, sprint, slalom, downriver, and also there's a program that it's called the Slalom Academy, where they're getting young kids into slalom boats. I donate a significant amount of money to the program personally because canoeing slalom competition has given me my life, everything. I feel very indebted to the sport, and you know, so having 4 boats is great. And you know, the thing is, when the girls switched to Ireland from the US, I was pretty happy they did that, and they did it as juniors, so they wouldn't have to sit out 2 years. But I think what it did to the program in Ireland, inclusion, equal, you know, male-female inclusion. Canoeing Ireland just essentially, you know, produced for the country, for the Team Ireland, for the Olympics. We, you know, it's got equal male-female representation, and that to me is great. You know, they live in Washington D.C. Well, they live in Bethesda, Maryland. It's a suburb of Washington D.C. They train on the feeder canal. They've been paddling since they've been 5 years old. We've had them in Jackson Fun Ones with little paddles. So they used to sit on the back of my boat, and we'd do gates and roll and stuff like that. And it was more, you know, the river's pretty clean, so you swimming in the river is not a big deal. And then they just paddle for fun. And then Donna Claddock started coaching a group of young kids. They paddled Dickerson for whitewater and would get out on the river to go up to Rocky Island for surfing. And, you know, just in general, Potomac River is a great resource.
Well, it has good legacy as well. I've always wanted to paddle there, actually. I never have, and I'm not that far away. No, I mean, what I was thinking was, from an Irish paddler point of view, I mean, Liam is in Po, so many of the Irish team, going back for a while, have not necessarily been training in Ireland, making use of other courses around the world.
Well, you know, when I got the opportunity, I got the opportunity to go and join with the US paddlers. You had Lugbel and Hearn, Jed Prentice, Bob Robinson. You had all these, it was a mecca, right? And guys, Garrett Marriott came out there and spent some time, Andy Kubler. You know, if you wanted to beat the Americans, you had to join the Americans, right? And so for me, it was a no-brainer. Paddling in Ireland in the 80s, you had, you know, the Sluice, and you had like my club, Wildwater Kayak Club, but it really wasn't. If you wanted to make an impact, you had to go where the whitewater was, and that's why Wiley moved to Nottingham. You had, you know, Jake Corcoran over there, and Ali, and you know, Liam. Po is a great place to base, and a lot of the Irish guys, the Hendricks brothers, were out there as well. You know, until we get an artificial whitewater course in Ireland, you're going to be a journeyman.
That was Mike Corcoran. He represented Ireland at the Olympics in Barcelona and Atlanta. He talked to us from Washington, D.C., USA. Thanks to my guests today, Luka Bozic, Joe Jacobi, and Mike Corcoran. Tomorrow's episode will bring results of the C1 men and K1 women heats, as well as previewing the K1 women semi-final. Again, if you need more, then look no further than Ettore Evaldi's brilliantly insightful and eloquent blog. Although written in his native Italian, technology allows us to grasp his wonderful prose. There's a link in the notes. I'm John Gregory. Thanks for listening. I'll be back in our next episode released tomorrow at 6 a.m. Central European Time.
That's it for now. Please subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify or YouTube, and leave a review too. Until the next episode, keep it fast and clean. Au revoir!